Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. I'm excited today about this video because we're using a new product that we haven't used before. So we're going to talk on cutting comb and the Pierce comb cutter, which I've done a video on before. This is the 2x4 that we've done a video on. I'll leave the link in the corner if you want to check it out. It's just a little bit more in depth on this one. But today I want to talk about their 4x4 cutter. So we've done a few videos on some of the Pierce stuff. They've got a really great uncapping tank and a hot knife that we use for uncapping our frames during honey extraction season. And so we really like their products, and I have a link if you want to check it out. But if you're going to be at the Honeybee Expo, the North American Honeybee Expo, it's a long name, but I'm still figuring it out. Anyways, if you're going to be there, they're going to have 10% off if you want to check that out. But if you're not going to, feel free to leave or check out the link that's in the description for that. And we're going to go ahead and start cutting some comb, but I do want to talk about the setup that we've got going on here. So this is just a pan right here, and then we've got a cookie sheet, or whatever you call these, that they're sitting on. That way they can kind of drain out a little bit. I've got a few draining already, that way we can go ahead and put them in the case. So that's just what we have going on right here. You do want something pretty big so your whole frame fits on there. This fits just perfectly. And then we've got our cases right here. These are from Blue Sky Bee Supplies, I believe. And we have the 4x4 and the 2x4. And so we're going to do both of those today so you can see what that looks like. But I did notice actually they're a little different. This one's a little bit shorter and this one's a little bit longer, like for the length, or taller, I guess. But I already tried it out and they fit perfectly, so that's all right. But I already have some package right here, so you can see these are really nice. This is the one product that we really try to put some work into making sure that it looks nice, because comb honey is a little difficult to make sure it looks good, but if you can get it right, it's something that sells really well, and lately it's been something that sells pretty good. We also have our labels right here, which I'm not going to label any today because I'm not very good at that, but one thing I do want to mention is the labels wrap around down like mid on the side right here. That way the lid doesn't move, because if you don't have a label that's keeping it down, it will come undone a little bit. I'm not gonna take it off because I already put it on there, but they don't like clip in the lids, so it's good to have a label that kind of wraps around so it holds it down. We haven't had any problems with it. Another thing that some people have talked about, this one has a decent amount of honey in the bottom, not a whole lot though. And we do like to let ours drain out. Some people don't do it, some people do, but it seems to be a little bit harder to be able to get the comb out unless there's like a lot of honey in there, then it's hard to pull it out. So we do go ahead and drain the comb. We didn't used to, but it's something that we decided to do now. So that's why I have these ones draining, that we can go ahead and package them today. But we've got our super right here, which I've already done a couple frames in it. I've done so many videos on the comb honey before and the frames. These are from Skipper Luttrell. And I think I have some videos out there. I don't know exactly which ones they are, just kind of talking about it. So these are shallows. We don't use mediums, we only use shallows because that's what fits these cases. Well, let's go ahead and get started, and let's just start cutting some. So I am going to put gloves on just because I do have to touch the comb. It's a little hard to get the comb into the case, but it's not that hard. I don't know if there's a different way you can do it. We've just always done it this way. I also will talk about using chunk honey, which is basically just putting it into a jar and then filling up the jar. So we'll talk about that when I get around to cutting some. But I already cut out a piece right here for the 4x4, so I'm going to show you how that works again. Now the thermometer, or whatever you call that, I don't know, for these are on the ground over there, but you can set the temp actually. I don't know if it's the knife or what, but there was one a while ago that they had where you couldn't set it, so you just kind of had to hope that it was hot enough. But with these you can actually set it, which is really nice. Well, let's go ahead and cut some and just show you how easy it is. Because it's hot, it just works so well. So it's a little bit hard to kind of get used to it in the beginning, but once you get used to it, it's really easy. And we like to find the side that looks the best. Like this one, it's fully capped, it looks great. The only thing about this one is there is some honey on top of the comb, which doesn't look the best when it's in the case, but it is what it is. Sometimes it just gets a little messy. But like the other side, maybe there's a couple pieces of comb that aren't fully capped or just doesn't look as clean, so you might want to do the other side. Let's go ahead and just kind of press it down, and it just goes right through it. And I mean, it's really quick and easy. So like I just did, you kind of have to move it out of the way or else it will drip on top of it, which some people are okay with. For us, we want to make sure we don't get too much honey on top. I think you can get like maybe 4 cuts with the 4x4. I don't remember how many it is with the 2x4. But like with this one, because there's some comb right here that's not capped, I don't really want to do a 4x4 because that's going to be shown. We want it to look really nice. So what I'll do is I'll end up just taking the 2x4 and I'll cut that. So that's a perfect piece right there. So that can go in. And then this last piece here, I'll go ahead and cut it. Well, actually, let's pull it out first. So then you can just, once you've cut it all, you can just take the frame up and it's ready to go. All you have to do is let it drain for a little bit. It only takes a few minutes. You can let them drain for a while or just like 10 minutes or so, whatever works. I'm going to set this over here because I am going to cut that in a second. But we're going to go ahead and case these. So here's the case again. It's just a clear case. It is plastic. It's not glass or anything. And then you just pick it up with your hands and kind of put it in there and hope that you don't get honey everywhere. But it's pretty easy. And then it looks like that, and it's really nice and it looks great. So I'll go ahead and put the lid on after I get this one in there. So these have drained, like I said, already. So they're ready to go. And then here's the 2x4. It's just the same thing. So it's not that much different. There's nothing really changing with the different sizes. Sometimes you have to give it a little tap to get it in there, but I mean, that's really it. And then the lid just goes right on top. I can get it in there. Goes in really nicely, and then again we'll just go ahead and label those. And then here's the 4x4, same thing. And those are ready to go. So we will get these ready to be labeled, and it goes really fast once you get into a rhythm. You can just keep going and going, and you'll get through one of these in just a few minutes. And then you obviously have to let them drain out, but you can get a couple of these sheets going, and that way you can do like most of your super and have them all draining out. But one of the things I want to talk about is chunk honey, which has been really popular lately. We ended up just doing it because we had extra comb pieces that might not have looked super great. There might have been some funky comb on it, and so what you can do is you can take just a jar and put the excess in there. And so like this one looks pretty good, but it wasn't big enough to put into one of these 2x4s, so we just put it into a jar like that, and then we'll go around and fill these up with honey and just fill it up to about here or so, and it actually sells really well. So we've been doing that lately. Another thing you can do, because you have to cut them down a little bit because they are pretty tall, the excess also in there you can put into a smaller jar like this one. So just a little bit left in there, but these sell really good also. So that's just one thing to check out. It's just saving all the tiny little pieces. The only stuff we don't keep is just random stuff like this. But a lot of it you can save and put into jars. So that's what I'll do for this one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and move these ones up. That way they can drain. And then when you're doing jar comb, you don't have to let that drain because you're gonna fill it up with honey anyways. So I'll just take this 2x4 and cut this piece out. And then here's what the frame looks like. Now we haven't done it yet, but you can actually clean them off and reuse them. But there is a little slit up here that you have to clean out, and that can be a little bit of a hassle. But other than that, you can reuse these, so that's nice. And then with these, like I said, you're just gonna have to cut off a tiny piece. It's not quite half, it's really close. About right there. And this will go into the smaller jar, and then this can go into these bigger jars right here, which I'll show you that. It just slides right in. That one's a little short, but it'll work perfectly fine because we'll fill it up with honey and it'll sell great, like I said. And then you can just put the lids back. And that's really it. It's super simple and easy. And so we've been really liking these, and we've used them quite a bit the last few years, and I definitely recommend getting into comb honey if that's something you're interested in. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. Thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures, and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.